Welcome to the Voice of Thermopolis Cat podcast. My name is Aaron.
I'm Taylor.
And today we have a special guest.
Brayden Harvey. With Stars and Pipes LLC.
Stars and Pipes LLC. You're a local community member.
Yep.
How long have you been in Thermopolis?
30 years.
30 years. So whole life?
Born and raised, yeah.
Born and raised. That's good.
Left for college. That's about
it.
It
Doesn't get any more local than that then, right?
Yeah.
Left for college.
Mm-hmm.
You're an educated guy.
Kind of.
Right.
I went to college.
All right. As a lot of people tend to do. Yeah. But what you got out of it? Well, bills.
Yeah.
And so we're here to talk about the Stars and Pipes LLC. So let's go into, I want to know why you started it.
So we started during the pandemic. So all the events were getting canceled, like all around the state. So we figured that these derbies, they've been kind of dying out because cars are getting expensive and hard to find. And we figured, well, if you skip a year, it won't come back. So we started picking them up. We had the Chamber of Commerce canceled the Thermopolis one. And I texted my brother and said, hey, we got a month. Think we can pull this together? And we did, and kept it going for that 1 year, and then gave it back to the chamber because
a full month.
Yeah.
To get it together.
Yeah. From I didn't know who to call. I didn't know that we had to have event insurance. I didn't know any of that stuff. So we went from scratch.
Did the chamber help you?
No, they said, well, this is why we canceled. And we were like, yep, understandable. We're good. So, and we told them we don't want to steal it. We're not trying to take over the derby. We just want to keep it alive. So,
yeah. So for the sake of the show,
sake of the sport. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure it probably was nice for the town. I mean, having to be locked in, some people not being able to go to work, and gives them something to do instead of sitting at home. And
right. Well, and that's another thing I had to figure out in the 1 month was I had to talk to the state and all these people and get the exemptions and figure out how many people we could have in the stands and all that stuff. So the pandemic protocol,
right,
on top of normal event promotion.
Wow.
Yeah.
So going back on what you said about not taking away from the town and taking away from the chamber, that some of the things I was hearing was actually that you guys were trying to push out the chamber because you guys were disgruntled and wanted to do it yourself.
Yeah. And that was, so obviously we needed some prize money. So going around asking for sponsorships, that we made sure that all the businesses downtown, look, we're not trying to steal this. We want it to survive and we need a little help. So,
right. And so you're making it sure everybody understood this is not what that is. It's not a hostile takeover of the chamber.
Yeah. We saw an opportunity, but it wasn't to steal it.
Right. So now we're 2025, we're working with the chamber again, or are you just now a separate entity and the chamber does their own? How does that symbiosis work?
So we're a separate entity. That's why we're doing a figure 8 race, not a demolition derby. We want the chamber to do their demolition derby. That's their big fundraiser. So we were like, well, me and my brother both are from Thermopolis. He lives in Casper now, so we wanted to do a hometown show and didn't want it to be a derby. So
yeah. So you didn't want it to be a derby because the derby was for the chamber,
right?
But you still wanted to do some sort of event that was yours,
right?
Since you went all this work, you got it set up, you know what you're doing now,
right?
And you wanted to be able to do something still that wasn't taken away from them and stuff. Is there something that prevented you from working with the chamber on the derby and then being able to cut that, or it was two hands in the same cookie jar taking the funds and that would have been a problem? Or?
Well, there was two hands in it, but I help the chamber with the derby now, so I'm on the chamber board actually now. So since the pandemic, so just kind of help them with whatever they need and just keep, again, for the love of the sport, we just want to keep it going. So keep it going, keep it growing.
Yes. As everything, right?
Right.
That's what we're all trying to do here in America and make our way.
Right.
Also, I gotta say, loud cars are super fun. So let's
go. So Taylor, have you ever wanted to do figure 8 racing or derby or anything?
I thought about doing a derby. Sometimes it just looks like it'd be so much fun, but I don't have the money to get a car or anything like that. And I see I've got some friends who do the derby and just see how much expense they put into it and how much work it takes. And it's crazy. I see, okay, got one car that's wrecked, and then the next day they're boom right back at it to pick it up again for the next year. And I'm like, that's crazy. Good for you guys. I love that. And I enjoy being a watcher.
my wife always talks like, oh, this year I want to do, and this year I want to do, and she's always, wanting to get into the Derby, and now figure eight racing's popping off hard.
Yeah.
Like people are almost more into figure eight racing than they are Derby. Is that a sentiment that you hear?
Yeah. So, like Taylor said, Derby cars are pretty expensive, and the best ones are old 60s cars. Well, people have been derbying them since the 60s, so there's not very many of them anymore. And when they are, they're expensive. So, we kind of had to modify some rules and stuff to get some cheaper cars and cheaper builds and use different stuff. But the figure eight races, they use like Hondas. We have a 4-cylinder class and a 6-cylinder class. Well, they're Hondas you can go on Facebook and they're a dime a dozen. So
the Honda Civic back in the 90s, right?
Yeah. So, or like there's Preludes and Celicas and all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty cool because the cars are a lot easier. And unlike a Derby, you're not trying to kill the other car. So they last years. You can go multiple years with the same car instead of trash it in one show and now you're done.
Yeah, that's what I was going to lead into here is what goes into making a car. So do I just take the old junker in my driveway and be like, hey, it's a Derby car now? Or like, what do I got to do?
Yeah, so we have, I've actually never built a car. My brother builds them.
Right on.
So he, when we're doing the events, he kind of takes care of the drivers. He does the rules and inspections and answers questions and all that kind of stuff. But so we have 2 classes. We have a gut and go class, which is basically knock the glass out, chain the door shut. You throw a chain around, you knock the windows out, and then around the pillar of the door, you just throw a chain and put a bolt through it or weld it, I guess. But they're way cheaper to build because you could buy one on the way to the Derby and build one. You rip it out and you're done. So
what about interior?
So you strip all the interior out. That's for safety. We don't want seats catching on fire. So if it's just all bare metal, so if it's all bare metal, nothing's going to catch on fire. You're a lot safer. So you kick the windows out, tear all the interior out. That's the fun part. That's the part I always do growing up. We'd get my dad or uncles or whatever would get a car and they're like, hey, we need this stripped. And we'd get the sledge and the pry bars and make sure nothing stayed inside.
Go to town. Full send it, man.
That's the fun part. So, and the cheap part.
Can I be a part of that? I want to be a part of that. That sounds fun.
that was the class 1. You said there's 2 classes.
Yeah,
right?
so that's gut and go.
What's the professional class like?
And then there is limited weld. So limited weld, they do a lot more extensive work. They can do some plating, add some reinforcement to frames. They can do aftermarket bumpers. So we actually make bumpers that you can run homemade bumpers, and they're like 300-400 pound bumpers. There's a lot more tactics to the limited weld class.
Okay.
Well, then it's called work hardening. I call it work hardening. That's what I learned at college. That's my one college term.
There we go.
But you hammer the fenders in tight and then down, kind of like an accordion. So then, even though it's still the one sheet of metal with a whole bunch of bends in it, it makes it a lot stronger.
Gotcha.
So there's
fancy college terms.
Yeah. So there's a lot more that goes into building a limited weld. And then, of course, all the doors are welded shut and the trunk's welded shut. And a lot of them have cradles to protect the engines because you can get... So the gut and go class is limited to stock motors.
Correct.
Limited welds, if you can fit it, you can run it pretty much. So very expensive motors. So
people soup up, put the Porsche engine in there.
Yeah, well, if you could find one, probably. Yeah.
Right.
But then, we have an engine cradle. It's just you basically armor up the side of the engine so that you don't hurt your engine.
Yeah. Because you want to make the car live, right?
Right.
As long as possible.
Well, and kind of like Taylor was saying, then the next year you rip the motor and transmission out and you throw it in the next car. So the more parts you can move from one car to the next, cheaper it is next year. So
is it pretty common for you to be able to salvage the engine and things out of that? Because they get beat up, right? So
yeah, they most of the time you can. Sometimes, if they catch on fire, the fire does some damage, but also the fire extinguisher does some damage.
The extinguisher does damage to the vehicle.
Yeah, because while they're running and you hit it with a fire extinguisher, then it sucks it all in.
Inside the intake.
Yeah. Plus, they're cold, so you get a hot motor, throw cold fire extinguisher on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not very good. But so stuff like that. yeah,
So what would you say to an aspiring person that they love watching them, they see them, and they want to get in on the game, on the show, and like whether it's a pit crew or whether they're making their own car, like what would you advise someone trying to start out, like from the couch to rolling around?
I would definitely recommend the gut and go first. So a couple things. One, it's cheaper to build, but two, it's a little easier on your body because you can't hit as hard because it'll fall apart because it's not welded together. So there's a little bit more strategic shots. You're not taking big shots, but you're trying to hit vulnerable areas. So they're cheaper and you're not quite as beat up afterwards.
Okay.
There's some of the guys in the limited well come out pretty sore.
Oh man, yes.
Getting in 50 car wrecks a night does that.
It does something to you. Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine so.
So do I have to
Ping ponging around the
register my car, or do I just roll up and be like, hey, I'm in, right?
You can just roll up. We prefer pre-registrations. So there's a few things that go into that. We have our website, 307starsandpipes.com, that you can register for any of the shows statewide or the figure 8 race as well. And we prefer that because then we know how many cars are coming. We've had shows a couple years ago that they the one class nobody showed up, so there was one car showed up, and we were like, well, we can't pay out for one car. We don't have a show.
Wow.
So but if you have, and then somebody from further away might not drive to you because there might be only one car. But if we can say, hey, we have 15 cars registered, then by the time the show actually gets there, we could have like 40, like, because more people show up, the more people know people are there.
People roll up. All right.
Yeah.
So I take that old car in my driveway. It still kind of runs, and I gut out all my interior, and I bust out all my windshield too, right?
Yep.
So I bust out all my glass. And what about my taillights? And so those are glass, too,
yep.
or plastic. So I bust those out too. We just don't need lights too, right?
Yep. No plastic, no glass.
Knock all
You're gonna
my
Lightning
plastic
McQueen and just sticker that thing on there.
right. Right. I spray paint my cool little my number, or do you have to give me a number?
No, you can pick your number.
Cool, I can pick my number.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I bust that out. I take a chain. I don't know where I'm gonna find a chain, but I find a chain and I wrap it around there, and I get some of the tack welded, or you said I can
put a bolt through it.
A bolt through it. So I get a
There
bolt
you
from
go.
a hardware store, local hardware store,
or one from the parts you tore off,
or the parts. Probably a bolt that I had from a seat or something.
Right.
And then I get a hold of you guys. I go, man, yeah, I'm gonna get a hold of Stars and Pipes, and they're gonna hook me up to what I do next. So I go, hey, Stars and Pipes guys, I want to do a race. When I got a car, do you need to inspect it? What do I got to do now?
Yeah. So we open up the inspection usually about 10 in the morning so that we have all day to inspect cars. They show up, we check them all out. So we have our rules also on our website, and they can go through, and we're trying to get unified rules for the whole state. Yeah. So right now there's a few towns running the same rules. And that just helps. If every town had their own rules, nobody could drive. You'd only be able to drive in one show because you'd show up to the next town and the rules will be different.
Like, hey, you have a sticker. We don't have stickers.
Right. Yeah. Get those Lightning McQueen headlights on. So, that's one thing that we've kind of really been pushing is unified rules. So they had the Bighorn Basin unified rules originally that like Powell, Lovell, Basin, Thermop, Riverton, basically the whole Bighorn Basin all ran the same rules and worked great. We kind of updated the rules. So a lot of the old guard didn't want to change rules. They wanted the 60s cars, and they wanted them built the way they've been building them for 30 years, Well, yeah, a lot of the surrounding states have really upped their rules. So nobody from the surrounding states could compete in Wyoming. So one of the things my brother's been doing is my brother Bryce has been going to other states and seeing the big shows that they're 2 nights long because they have 100 cars.
Wow.
So we kind of adopted their rules. So this year is the first year that the Bighorn Basin, a couple of the shows, all of our shows, and then the Thermopolis show are going to be running the Stars and Pipes circuit rules. So we kind of updated the rules, went to all the towns and said, hey, this is what we changed. Here's why we changed it. We're trying to bring people from out of state. We're trying to make it cheap for people to get into it again because the older rules kind of made it tailored more to the more expensive cars.
They were so antique at that point.
Right,
We
yeah.
got to update the. No longer classic is 60s now. Classic is like 90s.
Right, yeah.
So how many cars do you need in order for it to be like a race? I mean, I understand that it can't probably just be one or two, but like limit, I guess.
Yeah, so we try to have 6 in a heat. So if, divisions of 6 is the best, but we try to take 6 in a heat because we take the top 2 from each. So 6 gives a good show. Then we take the top 2, and then they all come back for the winner's heat. So if we have 4 heats, we take the top 2, then the winner's heat has 8. So that makes a pretty good show. We've had anywhere from 6 to 26 show up. So when there is 6, we kind of talk to the drivers. So Whirland last year, I think we had maybe 9. Wasn't enough to put on a whole show. So we said, well, okay, well, here's what we'll do. We'll do single heats. Like heat 1, winner gets the money. If you survive heat 1, we'll do heat 2. If you win it, you win more money. If you survive that, come back, and we'll just keep going until everybody's dead or nobody wants to run anymore. So they
cars are dead.
The cars are dead. Yes.
Yeah, let's specify that. For sure.
So we kind of change things up on the fly sometimes, depending on. That's another reason why we like pre-registers, so we know how much money we're paying out. We kind of can have a plan and break it down for the drivers. So
okay,
right on.
Yeah.
So I take my beater and I finally got it all chained up and everything. And then I get a hold of the website. You guys have some rules and regulations on there I need to make sure I tailor to and make sure I can check out. And then you guys can get me in a heat and we can go.
Yeah.
So then win a whole bunch of money, thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So we build
hundreds of dollars, maybe.
We build
ones of dollars.
Build our heats and everything after everybody gets there, because then we have the final car count. We have a driver's meeting before, and we kind of say, okay, this is how many cars we have. This is how we're breaking it down. We draw numbers out of a hat. Each driver draws a number. That's what heat they're in.
Cool.
And then, so it's kind of cool. So you're not guaranteed to be in it with friends, or you're not guaranteed to be in it with rivals. It's all out of the draw. And then we do the regular heats, take the top 2, like I said, and then just build the show from there. So we have a loser's heat. It's double elimination. So if you get out in your first heat, you come back for the loser's heat. If you win it, then you get another chance to win. And we've done, I think Whirland, when we did Thermop, 3,000 was the grand prize. Whirland's 5,000, or Whirland's 3,000 as well, and Casper's 5,000. So
nice.
We actually this year we're doing 2 in Casper, 1 in Whirland, and then the figure 8 race here, and we're giving away about 60,000 in prize money total throughout the year.
Ooh,
so,
heck yeah,
60 grand for the king.
Yeah. So we do first, second, and third win, and then we also like to. One of our big things is encouraging aggressive driving. So we have the Mad Dog. Whoever's the most aggressive driver gets Mad Dog trophy and Mad Dog check, which is, we make it a good incentive, because if you go out and you be aggressive and you tear your car up, then you just spent $5,000 on your car and you broke it.
Yeah.
So we want to encourage the drivers to, even if they put a bunch of money into their car, to drive hard.
So is the Mad Dog trophy comparable to like the first place, or maybe like second or third?
Their Mad Dog is, we have 1,000 for the Mad Dog in the cars, and then I think 500 in the limited weld, and then I think it's 5. I don't have my flyer in front of me, but I think it's 500 for gut and go and 500 for trucks. I forgot to mention we do trucks too. So that's the third class.
Oh yeah, okay. So third class.
Yeah.
So that old Ford Ranger can get
Hey, don't destroy the Ford Ranger, bro.
Like Toyotas, right?
So Toyotas are
bigger trucks.
Bigger.
Whoa, we're going big.
So you're like 60s Chevy, like
all the old farm trucks driving around, sitting in everybody's field.
Right.
They work great.
So my little Toyota might not do so well.
They probably not.
Oh. So okay, that kind of goes into another question then. What are there better cars? Like, if I'm building the Primo, if I just somehow have Elon Musk backing me for a Derby car in Thermopolis, or a figure 8 car, like what's the Primo one?
So for Derby, there's probably going to get a lot of hate, but the 2 cars that are kind of competing are 2003-ish Crown Vics, Ford Crown Vics.
Oh, I love those cars.
And 60s Chrysler Imperials. So a lot of shows, even nationwide, have banned Chrysler Imperials because you can't kill them. They are tough.
They're the meta.
Yeah, they're tough, and they're heavy, and they run like a champ. So
tanks on.
Yeah, and then
tanks on wheels, bro.
That's kind of one of the things with the rules changes. So the Crown Vics are really good cars if you do some modifications. So it's called tilting. You can you straighten the frame out in the front basically, and then you can put some plates on and keep it straight, because after you bend it straight, it bends back to the way it used to be. But you tilt it down a little bit, it gets the front end up a little bit, gets your frame a little straighter, and then they're really tough. So
all right,
it's kind of the two conflicting between there. So.
Yeah. And then is there parts and stuff I buy that can like give me the edge, or is we not allowed to have like cool aftermarket stuff?
So limited weld, you can have aftermarket stuff.
Plating?
So there actually was an outlaw class one year that was like, put whatever you want on it and show up. And there was cars that were like 10,000 pounds showing up because they were just armed. Well, then you just run till they run out of gas. So
see, this makes me think of Twisted Metal, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Can we see some Twisted Metal going on? You said you guys do gun shows?
Some Mad Max. So there's a couple of weak spots on every car. It doesn't matter what they are. If you hit the steering, you can't steer. Steering parts are easy to break. Wheels are another one. So everybody aims for a wheel. You try to break a rim off or get a flat tire or whatever, because then it doesn't matter how big your motor is if you don't have tires. You're a boat. So
you're a boat.
Yeah. So
it's muddy enough. Maybe I could.
Just take a paddle, you know.
Yeah. So there are some parts for that. We also build and sell parts too for derby cars, but we have some of the parts that we have are lip guards, so you weld them on the inside lip of the rim so that your rim doesn't bend and let all the air out. We have like valve stem protectors, because if you get hit in the valve stem, your air leaks out.
The valve stem, tiny valve stem is
that's a lot easier than you'd think
for your $20,000 car.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, oh, you got booped by someone's bumper or something. And I'm gone.
Yep. Wow. And when there's metal flying all over the place.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, some other guy hit other guy, and then he got my car broke because of my valve stem.
Yeah.
Man.
Wild, huh?
Can I just fill it with like construction foam?
Nope, that's actually in our rule. You can't fill it with anything. So back in the day, they used to put water in the tires because it was heavier. So it's just physics. If your car's heavier, you have more momentum.
Okay.
Plus, if you're stuck, you just bury the car and then you can hit something not mud and drive out. So we put in the rules. You can't fill your tires with anything, because people asked that. Can we fill it with spray foam or whatever?
Yeah.
So like with the trucks and stuff, I imagine you probably can't use, like, if they had the 4-wheel drive and stuff like that either then.
Right. So trucks, you can pick. You can either be front wheel drive or rear wheel drive. You have to take out one drive line. And it's like you have to take the drive line all the way out so that you can't say it's in 2-wheel drive and then throw it in 4-wheel.
Fair. Yeah. So, I mean,
that's a good one. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So one of the things with the tires too is a lot of guys are running solid skid steer tires now. They're solid rubber glued right onto the rim. They're not going flat. They're not bending.
Smart.
So yeah, a lot more expensive, but
right. But if I have a big backer, maybe. No.
Right. Yeah. And if you're going to a big show where it's like some of the out of state shows, grand prize is $100,000. So, you want to make sure your tire doesn't go flat.
Oh yeah.
Your valve stem at $100,000 on the line.
$100,000 on the line. You're right.
I'd probably cry a little bit.
Oh man.
Yeah.
$100,000 right there, and then the valve stem's like, just kidding.
Hey honey, you know how I spent all that money?
By the way,
I just I went and the travel money, the hotel, I did all this. It was 30 seconds, and that valve stem just
yeah.
And it wasn't even me; it was some other guy hitting another dude. So I'm just telling you,
it's not my fault,
our savings.
Honey, okay, it's not my fault.
Well, then you get
at least.
So next year, I have to spend more money.
Yeah,
to protect my valve stem.
Yeah, next year. Yeah,
and then I imagine you probably
don't
have a very happy spouse because they're probably like, "Hello."
I believed in your dream of being the best figure 8 racer,
and then your valve stem. Like, how dare you?
This is what you did. This is your commitment. Is that?
So I guess we touched on the good cars for derbies, but for figure 8 races, they're completely different. Right.
Whoa. Okay.
So, our figure 8 race, you're limited to 107-inch wheelbase, so they're a lot shorter because you're you're running laps. So if you had a big 60s car,
170-inch wheelbase. What is that?
The center of your tire to the center of your tire,
from front
to back.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So it can't be long.
Inches. I can't be.
Yeah.
Long.
So
can't have a boat.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Can't have a
so
boat.
Think Hondas and Evo, or not Evos, I guess they'd be expensive, but smaller cars. So
kind of like your cars. It's a little compacted like that.
500 or whatever I have.
Yeah. It's compacted, and so it's kind of
cool.
Yeah. Mitsubishi Eclipses, stuff like that.
Sweet.
Small and fast.
It's probably all plastic.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could strip all that off. So and it makes it lighter. But the in my limited experience, the Hondas with the VTECs are awesome. You can tell when the VTEC kicks in, all the memes, the VTEC kicks in, and then they're gone.
There's the lawnmower.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I always wanted, if I ever build a figure 8 car, it's going to be a Mini Cooper because they're small and they're fast and they're supercharged from the factory.
I would absolutely love to see that.
Yeah. It would be
Why
a blast.
not?
Yeah.
I mean, you got all this, you're doing all this stuff. So is that in the future? Are we going to see a car from you?
Probably not. I have a Jeep, so if I'm putting money into building something, it'll be my Jeep.
Also, I want to say that Jeep is beautiful.
not something that I'm going to wreck. So
not a figure 8 Jeep.
No, not a figure 8 Jeep.
I can't put a Jeep in there.
So we've had
unbreakable, right?
We've had kind of some debate, and we've said no, but people have asked about little trucks, so the Rangers and the Toyotas, and Jeeps for the figure 8, because the goal of the figure 8 is to not. I mean, you're not trying to wreck; you're trying to race. So they wouldn't really have an advantage, like where if you threw a truck in with a car and a derby, the truck would just hammer it because they're made for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're a lot more durable.
They're the Crown Vic of.
Yeah. So we've had people ask, and we've just said no, please limit it to cars. So we are doing 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder this year. Last year we just did 4-cylinder, and there was a bunch of people who wanted 6. So
all right.
And this year we can have up to 50 cars. Last year we could have up to 30. So we're like, well, to get them extra 20, why don't we make it both? So you can have a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder.
There we go. All right, trying to be more inclusive.
Yeah.
So with this day and age, we're in 2025. What if I'm bringing in my Cybertruck?
So,
bro,
probably
rolling up in that.
The firemen would probably say no on that, because if one of them catches on fire, those batteries don't go out very easy. So,
well, you have to have a special. I mean, the fire department's problem, not mine. Right?
I guess.
Come on.
Well, you're sitting on the big battery.
You guys don't have NOS in your figure 8 car?
No,
I didn't realize this was Fast and the Furious. Sorry, buddy.
That's also in the rules.
It
says
in the rules.
Yeah.
No fuel additives.
Yeah, pump gas. So it has to be what you can get from the gas pump. So,
and you guys don't fuel them up there. That way, it's like you know what's going in them.
You can smell. So from the exhaust, you can tell if one of them's running aviation fuel or something like that.
Apache helicopter fuel.
Right. Yeah.
Sweet.
So actually, the big shows, they are running avgas, and it's a whole new level of awesome when you're sitting in the crowd smelling all the exhaust from an avgas car.
Everyone's getting
it's great. You can feel the octane. It's literally it's fantastic.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
so it's a big event.
Yeah, and same thing. They put a $10,000 motor in their car, so they're going to run. Most of them have to have better gas. You're right.
Well, it's pump gas, right? Can't I run like the high octane pump gas?
Yeah.
Does that help me? Does that give me an edge?
Yep. And so you can run the premium gas, but just not aviation fuel.
Is that going to give me an edge though if I'm running like high octane pump gas?
Probably not noticeable. Gotcha. Where the difference between pump gas and aviation fuel, there's a big difference. So, or just straight alcohol. You can run like methanol, like drag cars.
Oh,
so.
Okay.
And I'm not really sure actually on the rules this year, since this is our first year. My brother wrote all the rules up. I'm not sure if we are allowing other fuels or not. So
or non-fuels. Like I can't have my little Tesla.
Yeah.
So it's just that's out, huh?
Yeah.
We're not caught up there yet.
We don't have the charging station out back. So
see, but I feel like Tesla probably, I don't want to call it like cheating by any means, but it's got that what is that? The autopilot. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be wild?
Yeah, I just sit back and like watch on the little like screen there, whatever you're doing, and the car's just going for you. And I'm like,
it's like, here's a cool idea, and I don't know if it's probably been brought up because I'm not like inventing a new thing here, but why not like really cool RC cars that are doing this stuff?
So we do Power Wheels. So it's
for like the kids and stuff.
What is it called when they do that with the Power Wheels?
We just do a Power Wheels Heat.
Yeah, I thought it had a cool name to it.
That is a cool name.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Power Wheels Heat. Okay.
It's pretty cool. We Power Wheels are kind of the same thing.
Those are sweet.
There's
regulations for that too.
Very low rules on that. We don't want any.
It's not regulated.
Yeah, we don't want any car batteries because we don't want acid being splashed all over a kid.
Dang. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But pretty much everybody runs the 20-volt DeWalt battery from the DeWalt drill, so you get a lot more power.
You can wire that out.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do. You can actually buy the conversion kits on Amazon. So
what if I built my own Power Wheel? It's so far it's unregulated, right? So I
Oh
can
yeah, as long as you had
put metal plating.
the
on
battery,
there.
you'd be the batteries. So we pretty much have you have to have a seatbelt, you have to have a helmet, and you have to have not a car battery, no acid batteries.
What is the age limit on that?
I think 3 to 7. And then we talked about doing an older class, but the 7-year-olds, they don't really fit. So then they're smashing their hands and feet and
Yeah, that's fair.
when they get hit. So yeah,
Wow.
we try to make sure they fit in the car.
You know what I really want to
Yeah.
do? I've been seeing these like Power Wheel Jeeps on TikTok for adults.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. Like,
Oh, they
take it down the side by sides and stuff.
nationwide, you can do lawnmower derbies and combine derbies and minivans and school buses and
You got to go to the South for though.
How Wyoming would that be if we had lawnmowers?
yeah,
Combines, bro.
be
You
pretty
get the
cool.
John Deere tractor. That's
The
Wyoming.
combine, yeah.
Tractors just
The-
launch an inch toward each other.
We've thought about doing a motorhome derby,
Amen.
but
That's so cool.
the cleanup from one of them with the plywood everywhere would not be fun.
Everywhere.
I do not want to pick up an arena full of
Right, and so
Smash
that's
plywood.
that's an interesting thing. After everyone's smashed all this stuff, there's mud everywhere in this arena. It's got to get cleaned up for tomorrow's, pageant. So,
right.
what goes into that? You have 20 people. Do you have a cleanup crew? Does it?
Yeah, so it depends on where we are. So Thermopolis, we have Stars and Pipes. We bought a big magnet that we can put on the bumper, and we drive around, and it sticks everything to it. And then we just kind of walk back and forth a whole lot and pick up all the parts. And then we kind of put so to build the arena, we have heavy equipment, a grader or backhoe or whatever, push the dirt into a berm so that the cars are contained. We don't want to hit a fence or go into the crowd or whatever. So we push the dirt up into a berm. Our insurance actually says we have to have a 3-foot berm. So
okay, 3-foot berm.
we build a 3-foot berm, and for a couple reasons. One, the arena for like rodeos is very loose. So you add a little bit of water and it would just be a mess. It'd just be a mud hole. Nobody could go anywhere. So we peel off that top
a little
layer.
bit of fuel, maybe.
Yeah.
That happens, right?
Yeah. Yep. So we peel off the top so we can get down into the harder stuff.
Okay.
And then it gives the arena's a lot better, and the crowd's protected and the fence is protected and stuff like that. And that's also part of the strategy. You hit the car into the berm and then they're stuck. So we build the berm, and then after the show, like I said, we run the magnet, and then we wander back and forth and pick up all the pieces, and then put the dirt back on top. So if we miss anything, a little plastic or whatever that didn't stick to the magnet, it gets buried. So
okay, so you just kind of buried some of the little stuff and all that. You don't have to fine tooth comb. I imagine the giant comb from what is it, Spaceballs, where they're dragging it. We had to comb the desert. They're the giant comb they're dragging. Like, you don't do that. You don't have any.
Well, I mean, we have a drag.
Comically large combs.
We kind of like just a agriculture drag, kind of like a big comb.
Yeah,
and it goes through and kind of stirs
gets a
it
little
up,
bit of the pieces there.
Yeah, and then we do that, and then we go back through and pick all it up again. So because we want to make sure we don't want to hurt anybody's horse later. So
right, definitely.
Yeah,
one piece of like jagged metal or something into a foot of a horse, and
you're
in a lawsuit, buddy.
And they're and they're as expensive as derby cars sometimes.
Yeah, they're more expensive than derby. Yeah,
yeah.
They've been breeding this racing horse for 20 generations, and then you just killed it.
Yeah,
that would be incredibly bad.
Yeah, and then it's 3-legged. So, but
horses don't usually
have 3-legged derby races for horses. Is there like a classification for that? It's probably a lot more proper, huh?
So then, it's, like I said, it's kind of depends on the town. So Thermopolis for the figure 8 race, we're going to build the whole arena. We'll bring our backhoe in and build the arena, build the berms, build the centers, the circles in the center of the 8, and then we'll tear it all down afterwards. Worland, same way. One of our sponsors over there is Swing Trucking, so they bring a grader down and we build the berm with their grader and we tear it back down afterwards. Casper, they have like a full-time crew, so they build the arena for us. We pick up all the junk afterwards and then they put it back. So
wow, so like the fairgrounds themselves have a crew that does that stuff for you guys. Oh, right on.
And they have just an hourly rate to clean the bleachers and stuff like that. So Thermop and Worland, we go through and with the dumpster on the backhoe and crawl underneath all the bleachers and pick up all the stuff.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, right on. Keeping things clean for everyone and really bolstering that up.
Yeah, one of our goals, we've always wanted to leave it better than we've found it. So we clean up, even if we're like looking and we're like, oh, we didn't have this food truck here, but
right.
Because without the arenas, we don't have our entire company's.
You don't have a show.
Yeah, it's all moot. So we want to make sure they take care of us. We want to make sure they take care of them. So.
100%. I like that. So you're keeping that in mind. You're not just the dirty boys coming in with their cars and then leaving and being like, yeah, thanks.
Right. Yeah.
Bye.
That would burn a lot of bridges, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. We'd make it 1 year. So.
Get 1 year and they're like, never again. Yeah. So there was a demo derby a few years ago, and that there was a sponsor that had done where it's like a demo your own car thing where they had like a car. I think it was you guys that brought up a car, right?
Yep.
And then it was like paid for tickets and handed a person a sledgehammer and some goggles or safety glasses, and they just went slamming on the car for a while, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the cleanup of that didn't get done, and the fairgrounds was like so uproared about it, and no one ever notified the sponsor that like, hey, like, got to get this cleaned up. So then now they won't let it happen again. But it was such a big fundraiser. It actually turned out to be really a big deal.
Right. So that was a fundraiser for our jiu-jitsu gym. So we bring the car in and everything. And well, one, we stripped all the glass out because again, we didn't want somebody. First thing everybody does is want to throw the sledgehammer through the glass.
Windshield.
Yeah. So we took all the glass out. Same
part.
thing. Yeah. Right.
Actually, all the fun away.
Yeah.
You could charge more for the windshield. Be like, hey, $30, you can hit the windshield. So.
But one swing.
Yeah. So we take all the glass out and we took like the mirrors off and stuff because we didn't want somebody baseball bat
right into some child walking by.
Yeah, T-ball the mirror off into the crowd, you know. So we took all that stuff off, and then we did a couple of different things. We had like you could get a crowbar, and it was like $1. Baseball bat was $5. Sledgehammers $8. So if you want to do more damage, you just
upgrade your tool.
Upgrade the tool, yeah. And we actually. Afterwards, we set it up with a scrapyard to come get the car, and they didn't, and we didn't know that. We thought it was handled, and it wasn't.
That's what happened.
And yeah, it kind of turned into a mess. So we don't do that anymore because we don't.
Well, then
that's one thing we've really tried to do as well is make it all on us. So if the scrapyard doesn't show up,
it's still on you.
It's still on us. Yeah. Right. So we try to control. If we're going to get blamed for it, we want it to be our fault. So we do a lot of that stuff that's in-house now so that we actually can be blamed.
Like, yeah, that was on us. Like,
yeah.
Actually it was them, but like we're taking the heat because
exactly. And that's
should have made sure that they showed up. And
right. And that was it. We were like, yep, handled. And then we didn't go look, and then it didn't get picked up. And we were like, yeah, we should have followed through on that. So
trust but verify.
Yeah.
So, like we're not going to be able to have that in the future. Is it completely off the table, or are we going to be able to get a second chance? Because I mean, people loved it. I was man in the booth, I think, for a little while there before I had to go to work, and it was fun to see people just wanting to go ham on it. They bring in their change and like, please, one swing. I'm like, totally, man. And you know what? That's the spot. It's ready, right?
Yeah. We actually haven't looked into it, so. After that first one, we kind of got our hands smacked, and we were like, "Okay, that's not."
Yeah.
We'll leave that.
But that was a few years ago, right?
Yeah, that was a long time. Yeah. I think 8 years ago. That's when I started jiu-jitsu 8 years ago, so it was about then.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like it's a boogeyman thing, like saying COVID.
Right,
like, man, back in COVID. Like,
yeah,
man, back in the dark ages.
I mean, it was. Though.
It's like the AD BC. It's like pre-COVID, after COVID.
Yeah, it is. It really. No way. I never thought of it like that. Isn't that true? How much COVID has changed everything. Yeah. And then that would be a good thing. Is like question to ask is, did COVID affect you guys?
So we just did the 1 year we did the Thermopolis one during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, so it's like 2020.
Yeah. So it was like in the middle of it, everything shut down, and that was when we had to do a lot of work to figure out how to, with the government, to figure out how to do it.
On that.
Yeah. So we had to mark off the social distancing and all that kind of stuff, and we had to limit our number of tickets because we had half the seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was quite a bit that went into that year.
You still managed to make it successful enough that you could do it again.
Yeah. So actually, that one's kind of the cool show. So we made $15,000.
Right on.
And because we weren't doing it for the money. Yeah. We just did it for the sport. We had the opportunity to help out the other clubs that couldn't do events because of the pandemic. So we like 4-H, FFA, the Masons, I can't even remember them all. The wood shop, we donated some to the wood shop in the high school. We did just
Wow.
The
Give it back to the community then.
yeah, because that's what we're like. They're struggling just as much as the chamber is. The chamber can't have their big fundraiser. Well,
Right.
neither are all these other organizations. So we kind of
Right.
just
And businesses were, even they were hurting, but they were still like, yeah, we'll give a few bucks. Like,
Right,
we just
yeah.
want something.
that was
happen.
actually our best year for sponsors
Wow.
because they were needing people to come to town.
Right. And
So-
people took the gamble. They're
Yep.
like, I'll give you $100 and maybe you'll get 100 customers into town.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it worked out. So for
Wow.
everybody, for us and for them and for
Yeah, it was
For
good.
us,
It was
yeah.
big.
Yeah.
How many people, do you know how many people you had for that first event?
I think it was like 600 because we were limited.
Yeah. Which
So-
is half, right?
Yeah, half. Yeah.
You
So
could have had
the
1,200.
the grandstands can hold 1,200. So we had to
Wow.
limit it.
And you
mark
sold
off our
every
seats.
ticket, every
Yep.
seat.
Yep.
Congrats. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really big, especially
And-
off the gate. You're doing your first thing. You don't know if it's going to work. Pandemic's happening.
Right.
Like-
Well, everybody was itching to get out of the house. So
Everyone was. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember for at least here in Thermopolis, it's like we were cautious to go out because everyone was telling us you can't go out, but we're not worried. We social distance enough. There's 500,000 people in the state,
yeah.
like total.
Yeah.
Like
And
that's
I mean,
downtown Seattle.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, like, I love Wyoming, and I was very thankful, especially to be here during the pandemic because, of course, it was a change for everybody. You couldn't go anywhere. You almost needed a permission slip to go to work. But, I mean, we're all just kind of used to staying away from each other anyway, so it kind of
Mhm.
equaled out in the sense,
Yeah.
and the world wasn't as crazy here
Right.
compared to everywhere else, and I'm thankful for that. People aren't beating each other up over toilet paper here. So,
Well, and that was there's no way we would have been able to do it anywhere else.
Right.
Like the powers that be would have said no exemption. Like you can't even have your family in the crowd. So
Wow.
we-
Yeah.
we kind of we're thankful for that. So and then we consider that sold out because we sold out as many
You
tickets
did.
as we could.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You sold out of all available seats, right?
Yep.
So that's a sellout to me.
Yeah.
And then how's it been trending? Is it like, do you find more interest in the sport or are you finding less interest in the sport, at least locally?
Yeah, so that's one cool thing. The sport is growing. So the car count was really low, has been getting lower and lower because cars are expensive and time-wise, who has time to build a car and travel all over every weekend? And because there's a derby in the state pretty much every weekend, so
Right.
during the summer. So trying to grow it with the rule change, we're hoping it grows. Have seen some I'm gonna say older drivers that used to drive came back. Like
Cool.
so it's kind of a family sport. My dad and all my uncles and a bunch of cousins all derbied. So we'd have 6 or 7 cars being built all the time from the time I could walk. So
right on.
some of my uncles have came back and started derbying, which is cool.
Coming out of retirement. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Uh-oh, watch out for him.
Yeah. The experienced guy.
Yeah.
And then we also have started the circuit. So me and my brother came up with the idea of a circuit where each show is worth a certain amount of points.
Yeah.
So if you register for the show, you get a point, whether you show up or not.
Sweet.
So that helps the promoters because it's for registration's $100. And you get 20 people. That's a good chunk of your prize money right there.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
So we encourage them to pre-register. You get a point for pre-registering. You get a point for passing inspection the first time. So if you cheat, you don't get a point. So there's some incentive to not cheat, build to the rules, make inspection easier for everybody.
Yeah.
You get a point for third place because we wanted to do first, second, third.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a point for third place. Second place, you get 2 points. Third place, you get 3 points.
Sweet.
And then Mad Dog, you get 3 points. So that's that other encouragement.
Yeah. Right on.
The point system too is so you're not just competing for one show now. So now all of our shows, the 2 in Casper, the 1 in Worland, and then the Thermopolis Derby are all on the circuit. So
the derbies in the figure 8 circuit?
No,
Or
no.
these are all derbies.
it's all derbies. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So each town just kind of buys into the circuit. Well, then the winner of the circuit at the end of the season. So the Casper show in September is the last one of the season.
It's the big bang. It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're the last one that uses our rules. So when that one's over, the driver with the most points can win more money. So I'll have to look on my flyer to see what the grand prize is this year. But the first
Cool.
year it was another $3,000 for a grand prize. So if you won your $3,000 at the show and then you won 5 shows and the circuit, that's pays for your car. So, and we wanted to encourage drivers to go to all the other towns. So like I said, we're trying to grow the sport, not just like our brand. So we want to help out all the other promoters too. The other promoters can buy into the circuit, and then if they use our rules, they can compete. And then that encourages drivers to go to theirs. So there was the last one, the last show of the year, the first time we did it was Powell. So there was a couple drivers that were tied. There was 3 drivers tied for first. So all 3 of them had to go to Powell to figure out who won. Yeah. Because if one of them went,
yeah, then he
that
wins.
one would have won. Yeah.
He's like, I just registered. I'm good.
Yeah. So, and then we have an option, one-time buy-in for $50. You get a point too for the drivers. Kind of puts skin in the game for them too. So the promoters have some skin in the game and the drivers have some skin in the game in the circuit itself. So
awesome.
And this year we have rings, like championship rings.
Sweet.
That's the trophy you win.
No way.
So that's sweet.
Yeah. So then we figured
you can't wear rings when you're driving, right? Maybe that's probably
the. Yeah, I guess you could.
Sure.
But we just think it'd be kind of cool. But all the guys usually put their trophies and the big checks that you win and stuff, hang them up in the shop where they build their cars. Well, if you can have a rack full of championship rings,
Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
I mean, being in Wyoming, maybe a couple buckles here and there.
Right.
Yeah.
Get a hold of Montana Silversmith or something like, hey.
Yeah. And they've had like with our trophies and stuff, we just order ours, but we've built them out of like pistons from a motor and saw blades and
that's awesome.
All kinds of cool stuff. So, but we try to make it each one special because, like I said, they display them all. So, like the Mad Dog, we usually make a really cool trophy because we want to encourage the aggression.
Of course.
So yeah.
Especially because like I'm probably only get 3 Mad Dogs in before I'm done for the season. So
right.
if I don't get my points, like
yep.
That's so the Mad Dog, right? You're encouraging that, and he smashed his car up because he's like, well, okay, I'm not gonna win, but I'm gonna get that Mad Dog at least, right? So he kind of underdog stories this one, but then he's wrecked his car, right? So now he's got to figure that out, put more money into it, and then go on to the next one if he's going to try that. Or is that something more of like an ace in the sleeve maybe? So if you're like, oh, shoot, I'm like 4th place, I'm probably not catching this guy. At least I can get the Mad Dog points and maybe get to the next circuit and be able to try to get my points and stay in the lead or something. Is that like
right? Yeah. So there's some
strategy.
Yeah, there's some strategy and tactics for sure. Because obviously, if you go out and you drive like a Banshee, your car's broke. So a couple things for like the next show, you can straighten it back out, and then we have pre-ran rules. So if you've ran before, there's a little bit more stuff you can do to toughen them up because we want them to last more than one show. So
yeah. Right.
So you can add a little bit more reinforcements after you run it once. So there's kind of some strategy there too. You can bend it up, but
just
you don't want
damage.
Yeah, just enough where you can add more for next time, but you don't want to destroy it. So usually it's not close. Like when we don't pick the Mad Dog, our judges don't pick the Mad Dog. We have somebody like a third party pick it.
Oh, cool.
Because
they watch the show.
Yeah, right. And
that's unbiased, maybe.
Right. And yeah, because we know all the drivers and so we don't want to be any bias at all. So we have a third party and they tell us who's the Mad Dog, and usually it's not anywhere close. Like the driver that gets the Mad Dog, like, yeah, he was definitely the Mad Dog.
Right on.
So,
which makes a good show. And,
right.
And that's kind of what it is, right? It's about the show, right?
Right.
You want to make sure everyone comes in, has a good time and see some good action and that kind of stuff. And then, for the drivers, you want them to be able to keep coming, keep competing and being in the sport as long as possible, right?
And there are a lot of drivers that do it for the crowd. So it's pretty funny. You can
Good.
see them when they get, down to the last 3 or whatever, and they're out in the middle spinning cookies because they're trying to get the crowd excited. So
rallying them up.
Right. And that's what we like about the Power Wheels. So one of the things with the Power Wheels, we really try to get the crowd excited because the Derby cars are too loud, but the little kids in the Power Wheels, they can hear.
They hear everybody.
So when they make a big hit and the crowd goes wild, you should see their face. It's the best. So
that's awesome.
And we're building the future generation. So
yeah, they're the next Derby car racers, right?
Yeah.
So we have a show coming up, right? When is that?
May 10th.
May 10th here in Thermopolis.
Yep.
And how many cars do we have? Do we know?
30 right now.
30 cars.
Hey, that's gonna be a
May
good one.
10th, Thermopolis. That's a Saturday.
Yeah. So it is a figure 8. So
the figure eight.
the figure eight
which is
race. Yep.
sweet.
So we have
Is this our first figure eight here in Thermopolis, or is it going to be our second?
second. We did one last year too.
Second annual.
Yep. And we have that's been kind of cool too. The developments in figure eight. So figure eight's kind of blowing up because, like we said, it's cheaper and cars last longer. So
Still just as much action,
right?
So
Yeah. It's just every time one goes through the intersection, everybody catches their breath.
holds their breath.
So, yeah, but it's kind of been growing too and getting more. I want to say fair, but that's not the right word. So we have transponders now that you zip tie to the bottom of the car and they track the laps. So like it's on a computer. Winner's a winner. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If there's you
it
can't
track that it went through 10 times.
Yeah. You can't actually do 9 laps and then pull over and start celebrating like you won. So
everyone's like, was that?
Yeah. And then you're like, wait, now I got to go back and watch a 10-minute video on my phone of if you actually did 10 laps.
Yeah.
So we have the transponder system that we put in, and each car gets a transponder and they register through I think it's called We Race, and We Race actually tracks the race for us. So it's pretty cool. When they get to 10, our officials say, hey, you like the car comes around, we'll point at them, get the driver's attention, say you're on your final lap. And then when they win, they drive out, and then the rest of them continue. So, and kind of the same as a derby. There's some tactics and strategy. You obviously want to be on the inside corner, like all racing,
right. Shortest distance,
right? But if you put a wheel in the berm, then you're stuck. So you want to be close, but not too close. And then in the 8, if you're in 4th place, you might as well take out the guy in first because you can't catch him.
That makes you 3rd, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, and same thing. We have a bracket. I think it's top 2, might be top 1, because we have enough of them to do. Depends on how many.
Cool.
And then we take them, and then they come back, just work through the bracket, and the winner gets prize money. So
then how many heats do you end up with? Yeah, what you said? How many cars again?
30.
30 cars.
Yep.
So how many heats? We're dividing that by 6,
6.
You said?
Yep.
And so that's five runs.
Yep.
And then we still have to go through championship runs.
Right. And losers heats. So we do the 5 main heats.
Yeah.
And then we do, if you lose your heat, you can come back because it's double elimination. So you can come back in the loser's heat. If you win the loser's heat, then you get a chance at the winner's heat.
So
that gives everybody an equal chance, I feel. So that's
first place for this is what, $3,000. We're looking at $1,500 for second place, and then $500 for the third place.
No.
And then what are we looking at for Mad Dog? What is he getting?
So there's no Mad Dog in the figure 8 race because you're trying not to wrreck.
Come on. I need someone. I need a shark out there in the water.
The enforcer.
Yeah.
But
someone will get it. Someone will just, what? I don't care about that. I'm Mad Dogging anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The first year we did it, we have Jeremy Schooner from Riverton comes and helps us. So he started it in Riverton. So he's the one with all the transponders, and he runs all that part of it. So he shows up and he's like, we got a lot of derby drivers this year. It's going to be a lot more contact than the race car drivers because they have different drive styles. So
man, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. And then, so like Taylor was saying, it kind of gives you a fair chance because, you get out there and you're all excited and adrenaline's going, and then you forgot to put gas in the tank, which has happened before.
No.
Yeah. And you say go and your car doesn't move. So if you get like Taylor was saying, the chance to come back, and because if it's some dumb mistake, like something like not putting gas in,
I would probably cry.
Yeah. So if we're in the first heat, I drew my number, I'm good. And then I didn't put gas in it. Do I get to come back at least in the later heat? Like
in the loser's heat.
Oh, I get to I'm just disqualified from the first one, so I go at least the loser's heat gives me a chance.
Yeah,
and then I got a primo car because everyone else is banged up, maybe.
Right. Yeah. So there's some more tactics, but they we kind of get the hate mail from calling it the loser's heat. It's supposed to be the consolation, but
runners up or
we don't do the participation awards. So what
number are you?
I think
use a bathroom break. Okay, you're 4. Let's try to mute number 4 here. Is that you?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. All right, you can. Taylor can use the restroom.
Thanks for putting it on blast for everybody.
Yeah, it's on blast. I want to make sure that everybody in the podcast knows that you had to do this. You couldn't sit for an hour. So
sorry.
Appreciate you.
Professionalism.
Yeah, we're totally professional here. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. So this is the Voice of Vermont podcast, and we're just connecting with local people. We're trying to get a lot of more excitement, a lot more unity in the town, and everything like that. And so, what's been your experience working with every officials in the town and different businesses in town? And has it all been pretty positive, or do you feel like the community is pretty well together behind it all?
It's kind of 50-50. So the community is great. The fans all show up. We sold out last year too, and we're hoping to again this year. So
we're gonna do it this year too.
Yeah, and sponsors are great. The local businesses, we have various different sponsorship levels, and you get some different benefits and stuff. Our sponsors have been great. And then one of the things that we ran into was the first year that we did it, we kind of got some heat from the town of Thermopolis city crew, maintenance crew.
Oh no!
Built the arena for us.
Yeah.
And then the county road and bridge crew put the arena back, and people didn't like that we were using government resources for that.
For your fun.
Right. And our argument for the county was that we're renting the facility from the county. So it's
the county's facility.
Yeah, in our opinion, but our opinion doesn't
hold a lot of water.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes.
So the 1 year it was great, whatever. They said, yeah, we'll do it. Well, then now that since it's annual, we own a backhoe. My dad owns a backhoe for the family oil field business. So we're just going to do it with our backhoe this year and not ruffle any feathers by using government.
Sure.
Yeah. So
that's helpful.
Yeah. And then we kind of had a little bit of stuff to work through with the fair board. Last year it rained like crazy, and the arena was just a swamp.
Oh no!
And they were worried about us tearing up the arena
real bad.
Yeah. But we scraped the mud off. Like I said, we get down through all the soft stuff. We scraped all the mud off. It was dry underneath. Everything was fine. But we want to make sure that weather contingent, that we're not messing anything up, because I don't want to buy panels if a car goes through the panels, and we don't want to have to shovel a bunch of dirt. So
yeah,
that kind of stuff. We just
leave it better than when you found it. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, we're hoping it doesn't rain this year, but so
weather provided. Yeah. We might have a fourth winter. So it can happen.
And that's one of the downfalls of doing a show in May. But we, since we do all the derbies statewide all summer, we, wanted the figure eight race before derby season, so that then we can focus on derby. So that's why it's in May, and that's why it's the first one in the state. The first figure eight in the state. Riverton's doing a couple, Powell's doing a couple. I think Douglas and somewhere there's a bunch of figure eights now, but they were the first one of the season. So
all right, first one of the season is going to kick us off, and then we're going to have like figure eights, and we're going to have derbies, and we're going to have. So you guys are doing the one figure eight. Do you guys do more figure eights in the state, or is this the one you guys do, and then the rest is derbies? How does that work?
This is the one figure. We do only the one figure eight, and then we do derbies. But
cool.
We've kind of been adding a show every year if we can. So we started out with one derby, and then we did the Thermop Derby. And the next year we did Casper. And then the next year we did Casper and Worland. Now we're doing 2 in Casper, 1 in Worland, and the figure eight. And then we did the Thermop Gun Show too in January. So we kind of just keep, as we get smoother and faster and better, we just add shows. And we kind of add as we need. So like we wanted to do some event in Thermopolis and didn't want to compete with the derby. So we're like, okay, figure eight. Well, then Worland used to have a derby for years. And they quit. So we were like, well, Worland could use a derby. So we did that. Well, then Casper used to have 2. And they kind of both thought the other one kind of was going to do it.
Oh, no.
And then nobody did it. So there wasn't one.
Did you guys come into the rescue for that?
No, it was down. They didn't do it for a few years. 3-4 years or so. And so we were like, well, Casper would be cool because it's a lot bigger.
More population.
The population and even just the crowd. We can get you can seat 9,000 there, so it's pretty cool. And it's centrally located, so we've really been advertising that one to out of state. They can all take the interstate to Casper. So we have a couple guys coming up from Colorado and a guy from Nebraska and stuff like that. So
right.
We had a guy from Wisconsin wanting to come, and then he Googled how far it was and decided no. But so
he wasn't able to get the sponsors to get the gas money.
yeah, well, and actually we told him, we were like, well, we'll do a like farthest travel award and give you gas money because you drove from
Sure.
Wisconsin. So
yeah, that's a cool way to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good incentive for sure.
yeah. So then the second Casper one that
was
we
that?
picked up this year, we've always wanted to do Natrona County Fair because it's Fair Week at the fairgrounds. It
Yeah.
would be big, but the monster trucks had a contract with them, so we had to
that's
wait.
cool.
Well, the contract's up this year, so we are doing.
And you're in.
Yeah, so we're doing Natrona County Fair this year, which is also 4th of July weekend. So it's going to be awesome. So
4th of July weekend.
yeah, it's
is
going to
the
be exciting.
Catalina wine mixer.
Yeah.
Ew.
I got my pyrotechnic license. I was like, we got to have a fireworks show at the Derby. So
That's
Yes.
awesome.
I don't know if
Heck
we
yeah.
can or not, but we're going to try.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that what derby would that be? That's the Natrona County one?
Yeah, Natrona County. It'll be at the
it's
Casper
big.
Fairgrounds.
It's 9,000 people. Let's fill every seat, right?
Yeah.
Man. Do we have a date for the Casper one?
The Natrona County Fair will be July 5th, and then our regular one that we've had. So we had the one in September, and they asked us if we wanted to give that date up because they have a lot of other events they could do, and we had to fight hard to get it a weekend. And we're like, no way, we'll just do both. So the second one in September is September 6th, and it's going to be a team show. So it's kind of also building on the sport. A lot of the other states are doing team shows. So you have two guys on a team
Oh.
in the heat together.
So 2 cars.
Yeah.
As a team.
Yeah. So then there's some more strategy because you can beat up on two people beat up on one car. So
Right.
yeah. So the regular shows, there's in the rules, it says no team driving. So that
Mhm.
whatever you and your cousin.
What if I
can't-
see my cousin? I go, hey, that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Number 4 over there. Look at him.
Yeah.
Let's get him.
You get a red
a
flag and say
flag.
quit team driving. So yeah.
Man, it's none of that.
yeah. So then we actually have a team show where that's what it's for.
Like, let's
So,
do it. That's
Yeah.
cool.
and
It's double the car though. So then,
right.
like, is there more cars in that derby, or is it like?
yeah, we're actually doing 2 days that day or that weekend. We're gonna do like the main heats Friday, and then we'll do the finals on Saturday. So
Let's go.
and we're hoping to have 20 teams, and I think we're up to 9 registered already, and that doesn't go till September. So we're halfway there, and have 5 more months.
I didn't see on your
There you
website about September yet. Oh, September 5th. Is that what we're looking at? The 5th
Yes.
annual Casper Stars and Pipes. Huh?
Yep, 5th and 6th. So it'll be the
5th and 6th.
yeah,
Cool.
it'll be Friday and Saturday.
and then we got July 5th for Casper, the first annual. Which one's that? First annual
Natrona County Fair.
Natrona County.
Yep.
Oh, demo derby.
Yep.
All right. This is exciting. Like, man, maybe if it's not so hard, I got an old Jimmy. Can I use that old Jimmy in my driveway?
And
Get
so
a Power Wheel. Maybe I get to get a Power Wheel. I got a
there you
nephew. I probably can get him in on that.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. I always wanted to. I just thought it'd be super fun.
yeah, and that's the fun thing with the batteries. Those Power Wheels are cheap on Facebook because the batteries are junk. The Power Wheel batteries are junk.
Yeah.
Well, just rewire it for a DeWalt battery.
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know. He could be skittish sometimes. I don't know if I can get him to run into another person. But so how do you decide a winner of the little demo derby, the Power Wheel?
so we let them derby for 4 or 5 minutes, and then save some battery, and then we line them up and race because you can't break a Power Wheel. They don't
Yeah.
like a derby car.
It's just a plastic shell with a motor.
Yeah, and we don't want to just
Hurt a kid.
if all the batteries die, and then they so we're like we let them run until they have a lot of fun, make it a
Yeah,
good
5 minutes of
they get
trying
their
to bump each other.
yeah, and then we line them all up and have a race, and then usually we do like Casper we do like a gift card to Pizza Ranch Arcade or
Cool.
Worland we do like $25 so for
Yeah.
first place, and we usually do first, second, and third, get paid out for the
What
kids
about this
race, so.
figure 8 race coming up on May 10th? Do I get to have my nephew into that?
We're not doing Power Wheels in that because the track's too big. So they would be like
Maybe in
one
the middle
lap.
area, maybe. And
Yeah,
I
that
can
might
watch him
work.
do a thing. They could do a lap. I don't know. Probably can they do a lap in that?
They might.
That'd be the slowest lap ever, right?
Yeah.
Like a mile and a half of the speed. You're just like, okay, I could walk faster.
Yeah. Jump out and push it.
yeah.
Yeah.
They just did a foot race.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that's where the DeWalt batteries shine. You can tell which ones have a
upgraded battery.
An upgraded battery when they go
Yeah.
to the race.
So yeah, if you're gonna put your Power Wheel in there, you could put your regular one, but might think about a conversion kit.
Yeah. And if you just go on Amazon and say Power Wheel battery, like just look up Power Wheel battery, it'll come up with like replacement batteries or a DeWalt conversion kit.
That's so fun. So we got May 10th coming up for your first show, and we're excited for that second annual here in Thermopolis. And then you got a bunch of shows lined out all summer. But what's the future look like for you guys?
So one's a website. It's pretty cool. We're excited to have our website. The first few years we were using third party stuff like Eventbrite to sell our tickets. Well, they would take like $2,500 worth for their cut for hosting. And we were like, there's got to be a better way. So kind of how I said, we wanted to bring everything in house. So we built our website. We can sell our own tickets now, do our own registration. So before it was
third party
message. Well, it was like message me on Facebook, and then I write it down on a piece of paper that you're registered.
Yeah,
you could. Yeah, but
not advisable at least.
Yeah.
For the
well,
sake
then
of
I just go in
admin
on the
time.
web. I go in on the website and fill it in anyway.
Yeah.
So
please just go to the website. But
Yeah.
if you really need to, I can get you.
yeah. So the website is a huge game changer. We're pretty excited about that. We can add
What was the website again?
307starsandpipes.com. So it's pretty cool because we can sell like I said, we can sell our own tickets, and it kind of makes everything organized. We used to do all of our advertising on Facebook. We'd make like a Facebook event and share it.
Right.
But there are so many fake ones pop up.
Oh, no.
Like the day of the shows, I spend half the day getting rid of scammers and fake posts and fake.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's a pain. Scalpers trying to sell fake profiles, trying to sell tickets to the show, or pay-per-view, pay $1 and you get to watch the live.
That is wild to me. Like it is, I mean, we're trying to get this to be a bigger event, but for something that's so small, to
Hometown event.
right, like scalpers, that's nuts,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
That's
scalpers
crazy.
in a small town Wyoming derby.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And so at first we would try to say like, hey, these profiles are fake, but there just got to be so many of them that I sit in the trailer while we're registering cars, just deleting fake stuff.
Man.
So the website made that a whole lot better. We started to get into parts. So the bigger shows, like the ones for the you win $100,000,
Mm-hmm.
it costs $20,000 to build a car
Yeah.
if you want to be competitive. So my brother,
if you want prize money,
right? Yeah. So my brother went to a team show in it's called Gold Rush Nationals, and it's in one of the Dakotas. I think it's South Dakota. But he started building his car, and he was like, well, I could buy this bumper for however much, or we can just build one. So we found a machine shop in Casper with a plasma table, designed our bumper, or he designed his bumper, and they cut it out. And we were like, hey, you have this plan. Why don't you just make bumpers for us? So we launched like a parts line. So on our website, you can get parts. There's bumpers and engine cradles and wheel centers and stud
Pointy
protectors.
climber.
Yeah. So a pointy climber, you get a pointy bumper, and there's rules on like how big your bumper can be.
Oh.
But everybody gets hung up on top of the bumper. So you build a climber, makes your bumper just a little bit taller so nobody can climb up on top of it. So it's like a guardrail for your bumper.
It's a bumper for your bumper.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
And then,
That's cool.
like I said, there's the wheel stuff. So we did like wheel centers and lip guards. And then we actually sell the solid tires. So we order the skid steer tire already glued onto a rim. And then obviously they don't bolt up to a car because they're made for a skid steer. So we weld in the right bolt pattern.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then we got into some other stuff like
And we're allowed to do solid tires. I thought I said I could.
Yeah. No, you just can't fill them.
So instead of filling them, I just make them solid.
Yeah, because you don't want anything flying out. So like if you got a flat tire and it was full of foam, then all of a sudden the arena's full of foam.
Oh,
But if it's solid rubber, it's not going to fall apart.
fair enough. Okay.
Safety stuff. So like water even.
All right. Yeah, water.
If you,
because that'd be bad having that in the arena.
well, it's hot and flying all over. And so we're like, yeah, we'd rather just not have the tire full of water.
Definitely, I understand.
Yeah.
I was just like, wait a minute here. I might have a solid tractor tire for a skid steer or something
Yeah.
crazy, but I can't have a little bit of water in my
Yeah.
tire.
So there's disadvantages to that too, though, because the tire's smaller. You get stuck. The bottom of the car hits the ground sooner.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's pros and cons of all of it. But then when we started cutting parts, the machine shop, we'd buy a whole sheet of metal at a time, 5 by
Oh.
10 sheet of metal. Well, if you get 2 bumpers, you have a whole lot of extra metal. So we have smaller stuff like hood washers and the valve stem protectors and stuff like that.
Hey, my valve stem protector.
Yeah.
Hey.
That are just little tiny parts that we just use it to fill space. So we have a whole bunch of them. We usually run deals on them. Like, hey, we're just going to throw in a handful of washers because we have buckets and buckets of washers. And then the tires on the website, not the solid tires, the other tires, they Scorpion Tire out of Casper is a buddy of ours. Doesn't have his own website, owns his own tire shop. And we're like, hey, we'll list your tires. So if you order them from us, it actually just emails him and he sends you your tires. So kind of, again,
that's pretty awesome.
Or anything, you're just helping a guy out.
Yeah, we're just kind of grow
and
the
he's
sport.
helping you guys out.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Man. So if I'm like on your website, I'm like trying to build my car, like, do you have like a beginner's package or something I can be able to pick up? I'm just looking at pointy climber. I didn't know what that was. Like, do I need that? Like, this engine cradle? That sounds like an important piece.
Yeah. So the engine cradle, like we said, they put their bunch of money into a car, so they kind of armor up the motor so that it survives. So we have
it's a Mad Dog special, huh?
Yeah. Yep. And so again, trade-offs. Your engine gets really hot because it's wrapped in metal. So, but it's protected. So there's different rules allow different things. Some of them have just a half cradle or a lower cradle, or some of them you can't have pulley protectors. And so you get into the rules and there's all kinds of different stuff. So we offer kind of a kit if you want the lower, and then later on you run in a show that you could have a full cradle, you can just buy the extra parts and put it together. So,
all right, cool. And like, if I'm trying to do my own car, my first car, is there like a place I can go to get information? Is there like a good place for me to be able to like hook up with someone that might know what they're talking about? And be like,
yeah, so we actually want to get that on the website eventually, is like a forum where drivers can share tips, tricks, swap parts,
Discord
that kind of stuff.
or something.
Yeah. There's a website called We Crash.
Okay.
It's just a big derby forum.
That's
and
a good place to go.
you can ask for advice and
Sweet.
stuff like that. And we've been tossing around the idea this next season, when everybody's starting over again, starting to build, we kind of want to do build tutorials for our YouTube.
Yeah.
So we can be like, hey, if you don't know how to do this, here's how you do it.
If you don't know how to protect your valve stems.
Yeah.
Yep.
You and your valve stems, man, you're obsessed with that.
So,
I love it.
I mean, I just can't believe like I would have a $20,000 car and then I just
a
get
valve
a valve stem problem.
Yeah.
That is Aaron's kryptonite, is talking about this valve stem right now.
No. I'm just thinking it's so little, right? It's such a small thing that can just blow your entire project, your dreams out the window. Maybe that was your dream, and I finally got this car, and I got my Crown Vic, and ready to just rock the meta. I got my big backers, and then I got something small like that. Like, man,
the valve stem or the empty gas tank.
Or the empty gas tank. The empty gas tank.
We actually, one of my cousins went out and went 4 feet and ran out of gas, and just turns around because his brother was supposed to fill it up with gas and didn't. And that
set him with death.
That was years ago, and still to this day we make fun of him relentlessly. Like, hey, is there gas in it?
Put a big flag, a big thing on your gas tank. Hey, fill me.
Yeah. Put a sticker on his dash. Did you check the fuel?
Yeah. And they don't have like gauges that work very well or anything.
Oh no, you take all that out.
That's all gone.
Yeah, it's plastic. So
good luck.
Cool.
Yeah.
So okay, if I'm going to the event here, I'm going to the event in May.
Maybe
May 10th.
May 10th. May 10th. So I go to the event May 10th, and maybe I'm aspiring, or I heard this podcast. I'm like, man, it does sound really cool. Is there a way I can go backstage and look at some of these cars, or maybe you guys can have a car that's to show that someone's maybe still working on, that you can kind of like tour a little bit, or like a backstage pass?
So we've had pit passes.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is. So growing up in it as a little kid, I always loved being back in the pits, in the action, seeing the sparks, and but
hanging out with the dudes, talking cars.
Insurance doesn't really like that, so we kind of try to limit it to like families of the drivers and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
maybe just get in touch with the local derby car owner and be like, hey, kind of check it out.
Yeah,
that might be a way to do it. Post on Facebook. Hey, is there any?
And usually afterwards, when everybody's kind of loading stuff up and everything, we kind of just
mingle.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there's a little bit there, and the Casper show during fair, since we're going to be there all day inspecting cars anyways, we opened it up to everybody. so that you can come check it all out. Kind of like the monster trucks. The monster trucks, you got to go meet the monster truck drivers.
All right, yeah.
So we kind of opened it up, did a pit pass that way, so that people can come check them out.
So the pit pass is a little sketchy because they're like, oh, insurance. But
yeah, so like during the
what
show,
about a waiver? You know, like you bought the pit pass, you signed the waiver, so now you get to come in.
Yeah, it's just a lot more paperwork and work and stuff to keep track of. And so when we do have pit passes, we give everybody the armband, so it's quick and easy. We just yell, hey, and they put their arm up. Okay, you can be in here. So vehicles are the same way. So we don't want a driver bringing in 15 trucks so all their friends can get in. So we put a flag on their mirror so that we know. So we kind of try to limit it that way and make it streamlined because, I mean, we're busy. I run a lot during a show. I run miles.
Yeah.
So
get your steps in for the day at least.
Yeah. So we try to it just makes it a lot
it'd be better
easier.
if I just reached out to a local person that's doing it, maybe you on Facebook or something, like, hey, like, do you know someone that's doing one? My son really wants to check it out.
Yeah.
So you'd be able to get that information out to somebody and get them in or let them check it out and stuff like that. And
and if I'm sure we could talk to some of the drivers and they love showing off their builds. So
right. Yeah. So that's cool. I was just wondering, like, aspiring people, people want to check things out, but it seems sometimes it's out of touch, It's like, you don't go to an NBA game, you'd be like, man, can I just talk to LeBron for like 5 minutes?
Well, even the rodeo.
I just want 5 minutes, bro. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Even rodeos, they have like the bull out front at the Cody rodeo, So maybe we could get an old car and stick out there or something for photo ops.
Yeah, see?
There you go.
Charge a $1 a photo, right? And maybe, like, help pay for that $20,000
Yeah.
for the valve stem covers. The callbacks.
Yeah. And so
Cool.
the figure 8, like I said, we can sell them online. So they're open. You can get your tickets online on the website.
And how much are tickets?
$20.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 and under are free. Veterans are free. It's kind of another one of the Stars and Pipes. The name even where we try to be as patriotic as possible. So,
America.
Yeah.
Help those veterans.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So veterans and 5 and under are free. So.
Yeah, 5 and under. Yeah. Do you guys provide earplugs or something? Or?
We've had them for sale at the front table before, but
look for them. Look for them, right?
Yeah. We get the foamy ones or
something.
Yeah.
Because I had to get the big muffs for my kids because it's so loud and they're sensitive hearing. So
keeping the foam in a baby is not very fun.
Oh man, yeah. Can you imagine, like, turn around like, oh man, you're eating it.
Yeah. So I got pictures of all of my kids with the cheeks all squished with the earmuffs on. Sitting at a derby.
Yeah. So like, look out for that, and that would be advised, right? If as a goer, maybe some sort of earplugs or something. Think about that kind of stuff because these guys are loud.
Or turn off your hearing aid.
Yeah.
Or that probably help too, right?
And that's something you don't think of too is the stands are all metal, so it's echoey. It's very loud.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then people are hooting and hollering.
Yeah. For some, it adds to the excitement. For some, it's too loud. So yeah.
Sure. So think about that kind of stuff. Am I allowed to bring snacks in, or do I have to worry about snacks do I have to go to concessions and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. No outside food. We have food trucks. So
please visit those. Yeah.
Yeah. We have. Now I gotta remember. Hangry Dog food truck.
Oh yeah.
We got your 6 portions.
Good food.
We have the Wing It food truck.
Also good.
Wing It. All right. That's
we'll
cool, right?
Harvey Shave Ice. We'll have the lemonade truck. I can't remember the lemonade truck's name, but the lemonade truck from around
the local
town.
lemon.
Yeah, local.
Is that
lemon.
what it is?
Yep.
Oh, I love that little place. Yeah.
And then Shorties will be doing the alcohol tent.
All right.
So yeah,
Do you need a drink?
Yeah. So it's
cool.
We try to trying to help out. We want to get all the local food trucks. We want to get a couple of them from Worland. I have a list of food trucks, and we kind of try to alternate so that you kind of get it's fresh every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if you just came for the food, it's worth it because all the food trucks are in town.
That's so true. Yeah. Like there was a pulled pork Sunday tent or truck going on at one point, and we went, and man, those are life changing a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And they so it's pretty funny. So now we have people like family members, they go to wherever and like, oh, there's a food truck, and they send me a picture, so I have their contact. So we try to get a new food truck in.
Cool.
Or there's a couple Get Loaded Barbecue from Powell. They didn't even have the name for their company yet. They just said, hey, we have a food truck. We think we're going to do barbecue. Can we come? And we're like, sure. Just let us know your name before you get here.
Get registered and make sure you get your dues paid so you can come on in.
And we try to find ones that aren't going to compete. So like we have
Not 3 barbecue trucks.
right, exactly, and then try to stay as local as possible. So like Thermopolis, we have the Thermopolis ones, and then Worland, we try to get Worland ones, and Casper, we try to get Casper
Sure,
ones. So.
they got like a priority. Do they get like a discount maybe for?
It's $100.
No, it's $100 even. Regardless.
Yeah, for everybody, and then except the alcohol tent because we have to get
The
liquor
and
licensing.
stuff.
And
Yeah,
that kind of
that's
stuff.
fair.
So, yeah, and can't really have a show without the alcohol tent. So,
well, at least a Wyoming show, it feels
Yeah.
like, right?
we actually said you could probably have a better show with just alcohol and not a derby than you could a derby without alcohol. So,
No.
yeah, but we try to help out as many of them, and we try to get enough. We try to find that balance where we have enough that you're not standing in line all day because we want you to watch the show. So we try to get enough for that you're not standing in line, but we don't want to get too many where each vendor doesn't have the customer base. So we've usually 3 or 4
Right.
food and then a couple drinks.
And you probably don't do all this kind of stuff, but do you think about like how many seats you have and then how many vendors you're bringing in? Do you like have a ratio? Like if I have 6,000 seats, am I bringing in 60 trucks? Is that, that's only 100 people per, like,
Yeah, we don't really, we just kind of experimented.
That's not your problem.
Yeah. Well, we've kind of just experimented. Like, okay, 5 was too many. So afterwards, we like to go around and ask everybody, drivers,
What can you do
spectators,
better? Yeah.
all of it. Like, hey, how was it? Was it good? So the food trucks, we go around. Hey, how was the show? Were you parked in a good spot? Was there enough customers? That kind of stuff. Busy all night? Any dead spots? Because if we say like, oh yeah, it's kind of dead the first part of the show. Well, maybe we're starting too early.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. So like, because at 4:00 nobody's eating dinner,
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just push it back a little bit or open gates a different time or whatever. So
a lot goes into it. Then.
a lot, yeah. And we want it to be good for everybody. Obviously, we
Not
want
just the drivers, not just the fans, but the customers as food trucks and participants and things like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and then again, we're not in it for the money; we're in it for the love of the sport. So we pretty much put all of the money back into it. So like, into better prize money, or right now we are pretty dependent on sponsors. We're trying to kind of get away from that, basically because we don't want to ask local businesses like, hey,
it's hard to guarantee.
And so it's hard to guarantee for us too, but also like how many times does a business owner have people ask, hey, could you donate $100?
It's probably about every couple of weeks I have someone coming in.
Exactly. Yeah. So the average, like, even if we get completely away from sponsors, we still want to have like, yeah, we'll hang your banner because we want to help out, but we also don't want to depend on them because it's not a guarantee for us. And it's especially like the pandemic year,
a burden on them.
It was a burden on them. Yeah. So
right.
We're kind of trying to get away from that. So there's some stuff that we kind of,
but sponsors, please don't shy away.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Like, if you'd like to sponsor, you can message me on Facebook.
Yeah. Or the website maybe, right?
Yeah. So, and then our sponsorship level, like our top tier sponsors, right now we have, Dickey's Barbecue, Gmod Diner, and, Renewal by Anderson are our top sponsors. So they get their logo and website on our website for a year.
Oh, right.
So it's, like I said, it's beneficial to us and we're trying to support them. Yeah. So we want to make it worth it. So, and, especially like when we start selling tickets, if we can sell 1,000 tickets, we might have 5,000 visits that week to the website. So we do have some pretty good traffic, through the website. So we try to help out with that. So,
and a YouTube channel to follow,
and a YouTube channel. Yeah. Our YouTube channel is kind of small because, usually we're too busy to take videos, but this year we got some GoPros we're going to have set up, a couple in the arena, one inside of a car, and then we have a drone to kind of get some good video. And
all right.
Yeah. So we're kind of getting into the production side too, but again, that's just more work, more help. We need more editing afterwards. So
that's more on your plate. You're already running miles and miles around the place, and now you're going to have to manage cameras and a whole little booth.
Yeah.
Are you looking to outsource that and maybe bring someone in that's, for the love of the game?
Yeah. So we've had like this year, I probably have a buddy fly the drone and stuff to help us out. GoPros, we got some older GoPros so that if they get hammered, they get hammered. If they don't,
Yeah.
we have a cool video. So, and then Casper, we have some buddies in Casper that have done the drone for us, and then there's I think it's called the Wild Bunch. I can't remember. We only used them 1 year in Casper, but they have like the Jumbotron and the cameras, and so they set it up. They had the Jumbotron up
with the footage.
Yeah, so it was live. They could do replays, and it was pretty cool. And then they sent us all the video afterwards. So
That's wild. I like that.
It was
That's out
cool.
of Casper, huh?
Yeah, they were kind of expensive, so we only did it the 1 year. But so now that's the
Hey guys, get on this, all right? A lot of people want this.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know, maybe we can negotiate something. You know, get some tickets. Like.
That's been the internal talk with me and my brother. Like, hey, we should look in. It's like I said, we want it to be ours. Like, we should get a Jumbotron. Well, they're like $500,000 for a good one. So
right,
but you know, eventually.
So you can't just get like grant funding or anything like that, right?
No. So far we are all self-funded. We are debt free, which is cool. That's something we're pretty proud of.
Congrats.
All of our equipment, all of our shows, all of our prize money, it's all debt free. So
Wow.
we want to stay that way. Again, it's kind of just like on our shoulders. So we haven't asked for any grants, anything like that, but just our sponsors and our fans.
Thank you very much, sponsors, for keeping this going for all of us. Like,
yep.
And the ticket sales, do those help?
Yep. So, like I said, ticket sales are open. That's kind of one nice thing too, is the pre-sale tickets is kind of helps us. I mean, if we sell out all the tickets in a week, we might need to get another food truck or something, you know? So pre-sale tickets do help out.
All right. So get on the website. That's 307starsandpipes.com. And grab your tickets early so they know you're coming.
And it gets you through the gate faster because we just scan your ticket and you're in. You don't have to stand in line.
That fast. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Man, the lines at the gate sometimes, I'm telling you what, I can just walk in like a big shot. Like, I know the guy.
I interviewed him during my podcast. All right.
know?
We are BFFs.
Your press pass.
My press pass. Yeah.
We definitely going to need some of those.
We got to start talking to these guys. What am I
Heck yeah.
thinking? Yeah. So, okay, cool. So, we're at, what are we at? Like over an hour here, hour and 26 minutes now. So we could probably wrap this up a little bit. I don't want to make it too long for everybody and all that. But I want to talk about the gun show stuff. So you got all those derbies. You're doing figure eights. You're running miles. And then you're like gun shows. Yeah.
So it was kind of the same thing. We were like, you know what we love? Gun shows. Do you know what Thermopolis doesn't have? Gun shows. So we did a gun show. So we kind of looked around. And same thing, we kind of planned it from scratch. We had to come up with vendors. I've bought guns at gun shows, but I don't have any of their contact info, you know?
Yeah.
So we had a buddy that goes to every gun show everywhere.
Cool.
So we're like, hey, you want to talk to your gun show buddies and see if they want to come to Thermop? Well, all of them said, yeah, there used to be one in Thermop years ago, but there isn't anymore.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah. So then we were like, yeah, well, let's do a gun show. So we started getting dates and stuff. Well, between derby season and figure eight season and gun show season, weekends were pretty filled up. So we do it in January, which all of the vendors were like, yeah, there's nothing in January because
it's the middle of winter.
Right. You never even know if the roads are going to be open.
Yeah.
So
I-80 is crazy.
So some of them do gun shows full time, you know? So that's their job is gun shows. So they're like, yeah, if we could do one in the winter, that'd be great. So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we plan it in July January. Sorry.
Yeah.
And
it's here at the Armory?
It's at the Fair Building. Yeah.
Oh, the Fair Building. Okay.
Yeah.
So they did it at the Armory before. Is that not on the table?
Not for us because we don't want to have to find all the tables. The Fair Building already has all the tables and stuff, so it makes it easy.
Oh.
We have outgrown the Fair Building, so we've kind of been looking for a bigger place because
what's bigger?
Exactly.
The Armory.
That's it.
Yeah, they have a fenced area. Can we do outside?
Not in January.
Yeah, we can make this work, right?
Yeah.
Propane heaters and stuff
inflatable tents.
Because fire with ammo is probably fine.
It's great. You know,
never heard of the old warehouse hardware store going up in flames because of ammo or anything.
But we actually, what will be awesome is the new senior building that's going in Shopko will be sweet for a gun show, but. In the future, maybe.
But that's going to be the senior center.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Maybe there's a way you could use it for gun shows until they're ready to do the whole big renovations.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
because they bought the building, right?
Right. Yeah.
So like
They've had the building for
a couple
quite a
years.
long time now. It just
So then we get in the same problem though, where we'd have to have racks and racks of tables.
Yeah.
So
well, then the fairgrounds, maybe
Yeah,
you can
maybe move
I
it
think
from the
I
fairgrounds.
think the rec department has tables too. Like we can outsource it. We can make this work. I mean,
Yeah.
heck, you got people bring your own table. Like
Yeah,
you got
so-
$1,000 in guns. Like
yeah, that's true.
you don't
But
have a table? Come on,
we did the
you can hold them.
the first one. We were like just kind of measured the building, and we're like, okay, how many tables fit in here? So we kind of just drew it out on graph paper.
Oh.
Like, okay, yeah, I think about 30. Well, we put 30 tables in there, and we're like, we could have went 50. So
Whoa.
the second year we went 50. So we had a lot more tables this year. So
What about that the old grocery store? Was
IGA?
it John's?
IGA?
Yeah, IGA.
yeah, that might work.
Like I don't know.
I don't know
think
what's being used for.
does Max on that.
Yeah.
Still?
I think so.
Yeah. Hey Max, maybe we can get with these guys and we can do some gun shows there or something.
Yeah.
You know, keep it casual, keep it local. Like people are helping people. You know, that's I think that's a big thing that a lot of communities miss is like just being able to help out each other as a human, and
Mhm.
rather than being like, "What's in it for me?" You know,
Right.
it's like, well, not much, but you know, like it really does help me, and it does. Like, maybe that means something, you know, because then I can maybe get a step up and do something like put on a big cool derby, and
Well, and that's
you get a couple customers are coming around, you know.
that's kind of our whole motivation about doing it in Thermopolis is it's our hometown. We're like, yeah, cool. Let's do something here because
this town needs something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
so it's been awesome to see what like what you're doing and watching it grow and bringing the community together. And
there's big controversy around the Star Plunge and how it's down and the state and all that kind of stuff that's going on, and everyone's in a dire situation, right? Everyone's feeling the heat of having the lack of the extra tourism coming in, but something that I think goes unnoticed is that we have a lot of really cool, great things happening, like Figure 8 coming up here in
Mhm.
May, and we have another pool. We have events going.
I mean,
on
the
all
PRCA
time.
rodeos,
PRCA,
in June.
let's go! Yeah, like man, we don't want to lose that. You know?
I mean, OEB's doing the it's like Welcome to Summer, opening summer. Like they have a concert thing going on.
Right, the
at
big concert.
Yeah, I think it's like the end of May or something like that.
Out
They
at
have
the
that
airport.
going on. Discovery Days is having Chase Rice come in. Like they've got a lot going on this summer. I'm pretty excited.
and that's kind of one thing too that I mean I'm involved in all kinds of stuff around town, and
Yeah.
one thing that I've noticed is just like it seems like it's the same group of people just wear different hats and meet in a different room.
Right.
So like
for like each event.
yeah, so like
Oh yeah,
everybody knows everybody because they're all helping with every event, and it's kind of just we kind of have an expertise in events, and so here we go, we're going to do this. So it's kind of one of them. You go a whole summer of planning events, and it's a lot. so like it's awesome that they're doing all these things, and it's cool to see the whole summer being filled up. So
It
and
is.
that's another thing that we always struggle with too with all of our stuff is
where do you put it?
and how much. So like I have 5 kids,
Yeah.
so for me my 5 kids to go to the Derby is expensive.
Sure,
So-
yeah, $20 a ticket,
Right.
unless they're under 5.
Yeah.
Well,
So
he's got a
veteran.
newborn, so there
Yeah.
you go.
They're veteran. Remember
Yeah.
that? Free for veterans.
free for veterans. Yep. So yeah, it's kind of that same thing.
You get exhausted on paying $100 for that event and $100 for that event, and plus food
and then food, yeah.
travel and
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. So we try to keep it, if we hear, oh, we would have liked to go to the Derby, but it was this, but maybe we can look at, different pricing later or whatever.
Right.
And that's another nice thing with the website is people. So this is the backstage stuff that people don't notice. So like,
please tell me. I want the nitty gritty.
so like at Eventbrite, everybody says, well, 10 and under should be cheaper, stuff like that. Well, Eventbrite charges more for multiple tickets. So if you do one ticket price, it's cheaper.
Okay.
And they were still charging us $2,500. So if you did 2 ticket prices, then they might want $3,500 per show.
Whoa.
That's
So-
nuts.
Yeah. So when you get into the behind the scenes stuff, there's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize. So we've had people like, well, these guys are doing it and they're successful and let's do a Derby. Well, then they
Yeah.
ask us, so how do we, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot we've had to figure out over the years.
we pulled it out of our pocket on the first one, but now
Yeah.
there's a
So-
lot, buddy.
The first one was pretty funny. So like I said, we are pretty proud of being debt free is me and my brother both save our tax returns
Yeah.
so that we could cover prize money just in case we couldn't get sponsors or whatever. Because we
Wow.
were like, we want to do this, but it might have to come out of our own pocket, and we couldn't sell out the whole grandstands.
Yeah.
So
And you only had 600 tickets. Or
Yeah.
is that? Yeah.
yeah, so we self-funded the first one, and then
That's amazing.
yeah,
Honestly, kudos to you guys for that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. You didn't have to go out of pocket though, right? You managed to.
oh yeah, we've got enough from the sponsorships and ticket
Okay.
sales.
Hey,
Yeah,
thank you, the town. Thank you, everyone that
Yeah.
sponsors that.
yeah, it
That
was awesome.
was-
Our sponsors
They were
great.
prepared to.
That's one
fight that
thing, you know, this town is when it comes to something like that, they're really good about, you know, being a community, coming together and
Right.
helping each other out with events and stuff. And
And yeah, so then now we just kind of at the end of the season we see what we have and be like, okay, well, we have this much left over. We can buy, like, we got an enclosed trailer so we can haul all of our parts around and stuff like that. And
That's
so
helpful.
so we just kind of, it almost all goes back into it. We
Don't take a paycheck.
yeah we
it's for the love of the game.
yeah
Hey,
Let's go.
And like I said, 60 grand in prize money, that would not be fun to come up with out of pocket. So
No,
Absolutely not.
I'm sorry, I don't have it. I'm a little shy this week. Oh, there's another event. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
man, buddy. I don't know.
I'd give the podcast another year. You'll be in there.
Right. Yeah. We're talking about. Dang it, I lost it. I had a really good thing about that. Oh yeah, prize money. So one thing I've been noticing, not prize, ticket prices. So one thing I've been noticing, some of these super events that could go on is it's an exorbitant price, and then they have it to where you can pay it off throughout the year. So is there maybe it's an idea is grouping your whole circuit into a package deal, so I could pay $500 for the whole package, and that gets me 4 tickets to each show, 5 tickets to each show. And regardless if I show up or not, I have them. And so I guess I technically could resell, or maybe they're not for resale, but then I have guaranteed entry to all these events, and I'm able to take that lump sum and I can divide it out through my year, and I'm doing the Derby circuit. I'm going to go visit all those derbies. I love the game. So now that $500 package I buy that gets me access, I just pay it off every month, 12 months. So I'm paying $20. The math is going to be bad if I say it right now off the top of my head, but I'm paying a few dollars a month. And then by the time, say May, the first one comes off, it's like, hey, there's my VIP. We're good. We're settled up.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility? Or
we actually do season passes, not
season
through the
pass.
website,
I just invented something over here. Season pass is a thing. All right.
not through the website, but they are we do them for fundraisers. So the Christian school just had their spaghetti auction yesterday, and we did a season pass as one of the auction items.
Yeah,
so
yes.
So then
I had to work, unfortunately. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
the winner of that basket now has season passes to Stars and Pipes events. So we there's another fundraiser going
Congrats to that person.
Yeah, we have another fundraiser going on in Casper. Groups come to us all the time, and we like to give back, like we said. So they said, hey, would you be interested in doing some tickets for a family of 4? And we're like, well, that's nothing, no extra work for us. We're like, here's a season pass. So it's stuff like that. So we don't sell them, but we have them available for events. So,
yeah, for big things. Auctions,
yeah, for
things like that.
fundraisers. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm
And then-
hosting a fundraiser actually right now, and I was wondering if I can get a season ticket. No.
We can talk after.
You're like, wait a minute.
This podcast is my fundraiser.
Yeah.
Again, welcome to our
If
Patreon.
anybody, yeah.
And I don't know. I haven't actually tried it because I don't buy tickets from myself, but
Weird.
you might be able to. So through the website, we have the affinity and the PayPal and that kind of stuff that maybe you could do that. I don't know. I'd have to look into it some more, but
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be an interesting way to do it. Maybe you can even have a premium ticket thing, because if you're a season pass holder,
and our sponsors get the sponsors. Each tier has a certain amount of tickets, so I think the top tier is 8 tickets to every show.
Cool. Yeah.
So
that's a lot to give out.
yeah. So we want
Cool.
the show's nothing without the crowd. So if we can
Yeah.
get our sponsors in the stands, it's awesome. So
Of course. And so, how much of my ticket price goes actually to you, to the Stars and Pipes?
depends on what show. So
Okay, so Thermopolis is May 10th.
Yeah, so we can sell 1,100-ish tickets at $20 each.
Okay.
And I think again, my math, if I did the math,
Well,
I'd be wrong.
20,000.
But yeah, it'd be 20,000 tickets. But then with all of our prize money and our insurance and the rental for the facilities and that kind of stuff, we'll make, I don't know, maybe 8. And then that 8,000 goes right into the prize money from Worland.
Right.
So we just kind of piggyback them. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, like, because like maybe you sacrifice the ticket price a little bit in order to get people in the door, because then they spend money at the vendors and things like that. But the vendors aren't giving you the kickback necessarily.
Right.
So I guess maybe if you had booths up too, are you going to sell merch? Are we going to get some hats and T-shirts there at the?
I'm missing my hat. Just so you all know.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
We're probably actually, I'm pretty sure your hat was the last hat we have, so I'll have to get Taylor one.
Disrespect.
But
I'm just playing.
So yeah, we do have some hats and shirts and stuff available online, but I think we're sold out right now. But we got to get some more made.
May 10th,
and that's just another one of them. We have to find somebody to man the table.
Yeah.
So it's just another one of those.
Anyone want to volunteer? Help out with that, please.
Heyo.
It might get you a ticket to the show.
Yeah.
I'm available.
Oh, you requested that day off, huh?
Yeah, I make the schedule.
Just so everybody knows, Taylor is one of my employees at my primary job. So
yeah,
there's a lot of banter back and forth about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so that's we don't really pocket any too much of it out at the end of the year. So at the end of the year, like the end of the season, December or so, we usually buy. That's when we buy like our banners and our like the website fees, and we got the enclosed trailer and that kind of stuff. So we just kind of put it all back in because we're trying to build the brand. So
build the brand
and
the game.
Speaking of the brand, one cool shout out would be Josh Rathman. He drew our logo for us. So
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, I listened to him up. So
Josh
awesome.
just did my tattoo. He's a fantastic artist.
Yeah. So when we need
he does tattoos.
Yeah,
we'll have to bring him on the pod, huh?
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Hey, Josh, come on the pod, bud.
Yeah, so we needed a logo, and I'm like, I have this idea. So, I don't know if you know what the rat fink is. Have you ever seen the rat fink?
Oh, like its style?
So it's like hot rodding. So
yeah.
Hot rods have the rat fink, and it's like a rat driving a
hot rod car. Okay, yeah. So I can understand that.
Our logo is kind of the rat fink, but he's driving a derby car, and he's the mad dog.
The derby car. Ah, the
mad dog.
Man, see, I'm so out of the culture.
Yeah, and then of course the red, white, and blue car that my dad drove, and patriotic. So
wow,
yeah,
and he brought it all together.
For you. So we sold Josh. I messaged Josh and said, hey, this is kind of my idea. What can you throw together? And of course, 5 minutes, he's got this awesome, because he's a fantastic artist. So
yeah, I know he designed when OEB had their tap house, he designed their logo for that in their old restaurant. So
he actually designed the Bobcat logo that's on all of our sports stuff. So
the newest one,
the new one, yeah.
Wow, good for him. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yep,
man.
So
what are we doing?
Yeah, like, Josh is awesome.
I'm gonna hit him up after this. Like, hey, I'm gonna, Brayden told me.
He narked you out, buddy. Sorry about it.
He said you're a brilliant guy.
Yeah, he is. He's
a great guy for sure.
Yeah, and then so shout out to him, and then anyone else you wanted to say hi to, mom, dad,
Go to bed, kids. No, just playing.
Maybe I'll shout out to kids, Bentley, Lizzie, Lincoln, and Cleo, because usually when I'm doing some raffles or something online, they're sitting on the other side of the table and can't make a noise because I'm shushing them. So because I'm live, so now they get to be part of one, which would be cool. So
yeah,
they get the shout out.
You do raffles.
Yeah, so we do waffles. So it's a different thing.
Oh, darn. Got me over hungry. Adventures with waffles.
That's why. Yeah. So Facebook doesn't allow raffles. So if you type in "we're having a raffle," Facebook flags you. So we have waffles.
It's a waffle.
Yep, it's not a typo. We have a ton of people say, "Hey, you spelled raffle wrong." We did not. We do waffles.
Good looking out.
Yeah, but they usually parts. So it's kind of another way that we have been trying to self-finance without relying on sponsors. We used to do other people's parts. Now we do our own parts.
Yeah.
So which is cool. We get to give away our own stuff, which is awesome. But yeah, so we do, like, let's say we were doing a $300 part. we would do 40 spots at $10. So we make $100.
Cool.
And then you get in and you say, I want number 10 or number 30 or whatever. And we put your name on that number. And when they're all filled, and then we get a random number generator to pick the number, and that's who wins.
There it is.
So kind of a raffle, a little bit different.
But it's a waffle.
And where
It's a
so I
waffle,
have to go to
yeah.
Facebook to find your waffle.
Yeah. So Stars and Pipes LLC on Facebook
All right.
is our Facebook page.
Tell you
And,
what, I'll go follow you guys right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not followed, but I'm using my phone currently to record this, so I can't follow you. Oh, I do have I do have the internet in front of me.
Weird.
Yeah. So then,
Sorry, dude. I'm totally out of internet. I ran out.
and then we live stream those. So whenever we draw, I do a live stream, and
There we go. Got you followed, man.
I'm pretty
Yeah, I
sure.
appreciate it.
I think
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get you boosted out. We need to make sure people are checking out those raffles and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we got and we do tickets. So when we get closer, we'll raffle off or waffle. We'll waffle off some tickets. So stuff like that, because we while we want to help out the drivers by getting them parts, we also want the fans involved. So, and then yeah, we do some of them. We do Instagram specific, so you can follow us on Instagram, and we'll have we do just for Instagram waffles. And
Okay.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yep.
So you find that you are connecting better with Instagram or Facebook, or what's the better way to to get a hold of you or to see what's going on with you guys?
Facebook would be the easiest.
Okay.
In the world of social media, I'm old school, so I'm on Facebook. All the whippersnappers on Instagram.
They closed down my MySpace page.
Yeah. So we're trying to grow our Instagram, but I'm not good with it. So I usually use the business suite that Meta Business Suite that posts on both. So,
Oh yeah, I enjoy that. It's helpful.
and then we're trying to grow our YouTube. Like I said, we're kind of doing our own production now. So it's Stars and Pipes 307 on YouTube.
All right, worth checking out.
We always have to throw the 307 in, one because our Wyoming roots, but also because just regular old Stars and Pipes is a workout supplement.
Oh,
yeah.
I love the autoplay.
Oh yeah. So that autoplay on our YouTube is my brother driving in the Thermopolis Derby last year, and we had the GoPro strapped to his roof. So it's a pretty awesome video.
ooh, I'm gonna have to go check that out.
Yeah,
Aaron, I know what we're doing later when we're bored.
And we've actually had people commenting on it that it's kind of behind the scenes. So he starts the video sitting in the pits.
Mhm.
So
That's
you get
cool.
to see the warm up of the car and the waiting for the flag to drop. And so they said, we love the unedited,
Raw.
just throw it all on there. Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Absolutely.
Kind of like this pod.
And the one, yeah. And the one guy, we had one guy comment and say that he loves even seeing his feet. So you think of driving a car in an arena, how much footwork there is. And
Oh yeah,
yeah. So
yeah. That's you can see the action.
Yeah.
like the person,
The strain.
man, the mech.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend, man.
And kind of the build too, you get to see his engine cradle and his roll cage and his all that.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, do like a tour thing of a car ready to go in, and then
Yeah.
see it live and in the cockpit view.
The
or-
360 camera is definitely on the list of things we want.
Oh, that'd be insane too.
That'd be legit for sure.
Yeah.
I'd do a
Heck yeah.
360 camera on top of a demo car. Man, that thing's supposed to get hit. Like
They put
not
them.
your $20,000 camera.
Oh, they're a lot cheaper than that. You can get the Insta 360s, comparable to a GoPro.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right.
They just get that big old one that sits on the Google Earth
The
cars,
Google
you know?
Earth car.
Yeah. Maybe if someone wants to sponsor and hook
Yeah,
us up
there
with
we
a
go.
Google,
360
I'm
Google,
calling for you.
check them out. That way we maybe run it, see if you get a lot of kickback. We advertise for you. We can hook something up if you
Yeah.
get,
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, someone out there has one just sitting around and this doesn't get any action. It can. You can get a lot.
Yeah.
So
We would not say no, that's for sure.
we would not say that. Man, it's been great having you on. This is fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Just
appreciate
sending this on and getting to know you and see what's going on in the town. But Stars and Pipes has been around for a few years now.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing big things in the community.
Yeah.
So drawn a lot of people in. So, I think it's
It's definitely nice to be able to sit here and talk to you about it because, not a lot of people know what all goes on behind the scenes. So,
yeah. I honestly, I didn't do a whole lot of research. I was just like, you know what? I have an idea. I've been to a show. I've been to a derby. I'm pretty much an expert.
sheesh,
Yeah. So I'm gonna just talk with him and find out from him, how do I protect my valve stems?
Yeah.
Call back.
The
Let's
main
go.
takeaway.
The main
Protect your
takeaway.
valve stems.
Protect your valve stems, kids.
That could be our catchphrase. Stars and Pipes. Protect your valve stem.
For the love of the game.
If you don't
I
put that
love
on a
one.
shirt, if you don't put that on a shirt that I can specifically buy, I'm going to be very upset.
I'll have to get with you on a shirt design. And
Josh, we need a valve stem design for a shirt.
Josh, let's go. Hit us up.
And then at some
Facebook.
point, it's got to somewhere has to say Aaron's Kryptonite. I mean, it has
Yeah,
to.
something like this little, get a little embroidery or something.
Yeah.
Stitched in there that says-
Or right there on the valve stem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let your derby car go to a valve stem.
Uh,
So it's cool that we get so much community involvement with this, and I hope that we get enough people to like listen to the whole thing and be able to hear what's going on with with this stuff. You know, we're not tied down to just one thing in this town. It's a little town. We're all community. We know mom and pops. We know kids.
right.
You know, we all have things going on, and events like this is what helps keep us going. What helps, you know, build the community and bring in the tourism we do need, but also like, you know, we get to grow up in a place that is cool. I get to talk to the guy that runs these derbies, you know,
Right.
and that's not something you can do all the time. It's usually a lot of things are cut off when it gets so big and so inflated with, and everybody wants their dollar. And, you know, here it's just like, hey, I'm trying to do a podcast. Like, you want to come on, talk a little bit about your game, and we'll, you know, hopefully that this gets the word out. We get some more ticket sale. We get some more people involved in the community. You know, one thing you hear a lot about Thermopolis is that we don't have things to do, right? Isn't that like that should be like the
Right.
moniker underneath our town name, like Thermopolis. We don't have things to do, because like everyone wants to talk about how we don't have stuff to do, but then this guy's running how many derbies a year?
Yeah.
You know?
4 this year.
Yeah, and then, like 2 of them, there's a derby and the figure 8 here in Thermopolis. PRC rodeo is coming on, right? We have hot springs still. We have hiking trails. You know, one thing that was really cool the other day, and shout out to Rent Adventure here local. I hit them up and I was like, hey, it'd be kind of cool to just rent a couple e-bikes and go zipping around town for a while. And they're like, sure. Like, we'll hook you up. So I signed my waivers. I paid for my bikes, and I got 2 of them. And a friend and I would just zipped around town until the batteries were about dead. And thankfully, we managed to make it back before the batteries were truly dead. Otherwise, walking that heavy bike would be crazy. But then, like, that was just something simple to do. There's stuff to do. We just need to get cohesive about it. We need to let's get the community. Let people know. You know, people have events going on all the time. There was a spaghetti dinner last night. I wanted to talk about that. I didn't get an episode out for the pod, but I was going to talk about the spaghetti dinner. It's, it was a benefit dinner for the Risen Sun Church, right?
The Christian school. Yep.
Yeah. So this is a school. These are kids that we're investing in. So, you know, I wanted to get people to go and support them. People still can. You still can support them. If you missed the spaghetti dinner, like get with them and talk with them. Ask them how you can support. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's money. It doesn't have to be always dollars. Sometimes having an extra person around to pick up a playground or something like that is a big deal. Or fix something. You know, maybe you have a skill that is helpful with that. You know, these derby guys are doing a lot of work there too. You know, they could use someone manning a booth, maybe helping sell merch or selling tickets at the gate, or organizing some of the vendors and stuff. So it's there's a lot of opportunity. If you don't have money, you have time. And that the community is what needs your time and needs your efforts. So, just building up this community is what it's all about. And I really thank you for coming on the podcast. It was a huge deal for us, and we're going to do a lot more. Or maybe we'll get your guy on. What was his name again? Josh.
Yeah.
Josh. What?
Rathman.
Hey, I'm calling you out. You're going to be in my next episode. You're going to be the next person I'm chasing down. I also have Brian from the rec department coming up. I'm going to be doing an interview with him. I'm trying to get Roland from the Star Plunge and get an interview with him, talking about his side of things and what's going on with the Star Plunge. Because for us, it's a big deal. And there's a lot of drama surrounding it, but I don't think it's the only thing that we have going on. And that's a big point. Big takeaway from today is that there's a lot of really cool stuff going on.
Right.
You just got to look a little bit. So
right. Yep. And every organization, like I said, it's always usually the same people. Every organization is needing volunteers. So, and when a lot of it, like especially with the first year we did the Derby, we weren't allowed to complain about it if we weren't going to fix it. So that was our opinion, and so we put on our own. So
wow, you can't complain about it if you're not willing to do something about it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
That's fair. That's a big takeaway, man. All right. Well, this has been Voice of the Mob. This is interview with Stars and Pipes. Thank you for coming on again.
Yeah.
And thank you, Taylor, for showing up and providing extra
you're
commentary.
welcome.
A better insight, maybe.
Yeah. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate the podcast in general, because there's a lot of stuff that is going on, like you said, that needs brought to light. So it's awesome what you're doing.
Thank you very much. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Toodles.